About what you're doing in these days?
Well, I mean, I made 2 pieces in the last 2 weeks. I had a structure, for this 29 vortex, but people arrived at different times to work on it.
Yeah.
And I also made a piece with students, and it's beautiful. It's really lovely, and it actually embodies what I teach. I can see it in front of me, and it's the changes are just subtle, and they just keep shifting and shifting and shifting. And the group has created a very apparent and conscious intuition with each other about rhythm and timing, and it's just really beautiful.
Talking about like this ritual and how was it made?
It was not just my idea. Keith Hennessy and Lauren Elder they work outdoors. A lot of the people that I work with also they work outdoors. And Lauren is a big visual artist and environmental artist. Keith does a lot of group work, a lot of work outdoors. So it was everybody's idea.
Yeah.
And with this particular work, with Religare. And so we passed often this place on 16th and Valencia that was a big hole in the ground.
Yeah.
The big eyesore. And we heard that there was an arson fire and many people died because the windows were barred up. And so we decided to make a piece there and to name the piece Religare, to bind back to source, to heal the impossible, the hope of the impossible. And we naively thought that we could heal city land. And I think we did, actually. And we would go there every day with gloves and shoes and goggles and clean broken glass and needles and condoms and poop, and we cleaned the place up, and then we began to orchestrate this kind of ritual because it was underground, so the supports to the street were pillows, and it created rooms, and you kind of went down this embankment.
Yeah.
So I would stand up on the street and watch, and I would see this mandala of this is like a village. These events are going on in these separate rooms, and as you walk through, you can see one person performing, and you see someone watching that person perform, but then if you step back and there's higher ground, then you get a view of seeing these different performances going on simultaneously, and if you move even back, you see a mandala.
Yeah.
And there was also a wall there that people got on, that was a graffiti wall to the right, and so that became a platform. And then finally Lauren built a fire in the middle, and so we had a circle and a fire in the center but it was, I mean, it was very, very hard work. It was very, very hard work.
Yeah.
We had a lot of burritos.
And I remember seeing, and there was this atmosphere like of collective, of ritual happening. So how did the people were already in some ways engaged with contraband, like the public, I mean, or they were just random public, or they were already...
We used to put mandalas for our performances on the street, on the sidewalk, and Jules Beckman would make these mandalas and as stamps, and and they would be put on the street. And then because the group had so many different kinds of people, and it's like musicians and visual artists and public performers and theater people and dancers. It drew community, because a lot of my people were very public and very, very community-oriented people. And so they gathered people, and also to do something in public like that, people would be walking along the street and they'd stop.
They stopped,
and ask what we were doing. And then so it just began to build, because it's also a bus stop in two directions. People would get on the bus, and so very often there was just a crowd of people standing on the sidewalk, because on the corner, watching us work.
After they actually build it up again, they build new apartments after your performance, right?
Yeah. And when we did it in 1989, it was the Eddy Street apartments, and those were very tall buildings where they put the black community or the poor community in these tall buildings crammed together, and then the playgrounds were built so that in a way that the wind from the ocean would come in, and it was very cold, but it's also, just really enclosed.
Are there other artists or other people that interact with the group and with your work? A little bit.
One of my good friends and composers, Norman Rutherford, I worked with him for 35 years. That's a long time. And so I'll work with people for a while, and then they may move somewhere. Like Abby moved to New York, and Miguel, and that now she's back living not in San Francisco but in Vallejo, and so we're working together again. Where was a period that we weren't. I just work with a lot of different people, and it's like in a way it's who shows up, because I don't have a huge sum of money to just go out and hire whoever I might be interested in working with. Then there has to be a heart connection. There has to be a soul connection. There has to be a commitment, both of chemistry and curiosity, and something that myself and my collaborators offer that creates more than what I could just do by myself.
We were also talking about, like, if you can go deeper into the connection between your artistic practice and your healing practice, like how they interact with each other and they inform each other.
Okay. I want to go back for one moment and say that I want to do more different collaborations now, because I used to work with video people and a lot of musicians, and I'm wanting new developments now. We have new kinds of teams to work with. So just saying that. If anybody's listening. so the healing work, I think has been trying to heal me, but in the meantime, I've just gathered an enormous toolkit. And then I was thinking, well, dancers should know this, or performers, what would it be like if performers had this kind of information? I'm a dowser, and that has taught me tremendous concentration and focus. So I actually do teach dowsing, but I'm a master NLP practitioner, and I learned a lot about foreground and background and good side and bad side and boundaries and what happens, even just the simplest things of when you start a dance with someone, if you're face to face or if you're standing on their right or their left. And then I do a whole bunch of energetic practices that I develop from psychic work. It's like how are dancers actually in their body when they start to perform, are they really, what are they doing? So I wanted to see a space really clear, a radically clear space with people in their bodies. Then I wanted to see space move people, not dancers move through space. Mm-hmm. So there's a transparency here, and yet no bleeding, no glue. So I have a whole thing called solo neutral follow that I teach that is actually about are you in your body or not? Mm-hmm. And it's a way of practicing these aspects and then turning it into, it's actually a beautiful performance score. And once people learn this, they're very free. They're not so dependent on some kind of idea around structure or how to relate to somebody else or how to activate the space. They just know. They just know. Mm-hmm. So let's see. And then, I've worked with some really brilliant people, both physical energy aspects, mental energy, psychological, psychic. So I've just developed a lot of tools that you can't tell the difference anymore.
Yeah.
The healing work and the energetic work is the movement work. They have become married. And also because I've been doing Qi for so many years, Qi cultivation, that the Qi has taught me so much. And it's a simple thing of just a big inhale and exhale for 5 minutes or 300, detoxing and working on the circulatory system. And then I thought, what if I work with the pelvic weight? Well, what if one arm goes up, the other? What if I draw ley lines in the space? What if I work with the corners? What if I do circles? What if I do figure eights while I'm doing all of this breathing work? What if I use stop techniques and boundary work? What if I lift people off the ground energetically? What if, just asking myself questions constantly and letting the answers come through me physically and energetically. It's pure joy.
Yeah, I was trying to understand, is this when you teach more like to perceive?
You train while you're moving. I was trained by Alwin Nikolais in New York, and he taught verbally standing at a drum. Mm-hmm. So it felt like we were in trance, but you had to listen to him speak, and so you learned rhythm, time, space, and motion from his speaking, but you had to put that in your body, so you became hyper aware of what everyone else was doing and listening to that drum. So you were working through the beats, on the beats. You had to keep your eyes focused, and the phrases would change according to who could do them the best. Mm-hmm. And then he would say, add a turn, and a one, Mm-hmm. And so you were always ready before it was time to be there. All your senses were awake. So I feel like, Nikolai was a master, absolutely a genius. And very often I feel like I'm still teaching that. I've just found my own way and to bring in to develop Sara and what I have to bring to the world, or whatever my gifts are. So I don't teach Nikolai technique. But I have tremendous love and respect. Yeah.
Yeah. And you were talking about the training of the performer, so that they also have this kind of tools, and how this changed their way to inhabit their body. And for me, the interesting point would be also to see how does it change the relationship with the audience, and maybe not only the audience, but the more
I want to change the room. You change the energy in the room. No, it's just very present time. It's very alive. It's very conscious. It's very awake. So they're not performing. Yeah. So, you know, I get stuck too, and sometimes it's simple as not knowing what the costume should be, or thinking about the next piece and bringing some of those ideas into this, or something in the past that's not resolved and bringing that, or where I am in my own evolution. How much percentage male and female am I at any given period, and what are the issues and challenges that I'm working through? Because I grew up many years ago when women did not have many options, and I was very forceful in my energy and in my desire, and yet I was brought up in a very constricted, extremely constricted environment. But that said, those are teachings in a way, because you have to overcome them. You have to break through them, and that creates. I'm saying, why am I talking about this? Okay, it's being revealed to me why I'm talking about this, so that these layers come off, and I see more, and as I see more, and the performers teach me. Also they become so good that I'm in awe of what they do. Yeah, the beautiful artists that I am so lucky to be in collaboration with and to direct are tremendous human beings. They have so much integrity, so much wisdom.
And also, do they bring their own issues and their own life experience in the work in some ways, right?
Yeah, that's where the work comes from. Yeah. It actually does. I'll have an idea, but then you have to go in, and the people working with the idea are the content, or the material. Mm-hmm. And I write the work, and so my writing and my spoken word becomes a theme of what I'm working with and what I'm asking the audience and the performers and myself. So I'm very out front about being exactly where I am. And ad-libbing and live directing, also text, and then going off script. And so that, the text, the performance is always live too. You can't predict exactly how the performer is going to be any given night, because it's on the edge of improvisation and composition. It holds that edge.
Okay.
So you're going to see the same technique and the same script, movement script. Very detailed, but you won't see the same movement necessarily.
Yeah.
It will look like the same movement, but if you put two videos together, it would not be the same.
One last question. I'm just really interested in this thing of changing the energy in the room, and also the perception of people. When do you start it before already? The people arrive, and
I clear the room, and I bring in non-visible friends, and I just make it clean, so they're not walking into a fight that maybe happened in the morning, or some negative energy that occurred in a break when maybe I wasn't even aware. Because you can walk in particularly in hallways and the hallways of hotels and transitional places, you can pick up energy or where there's some dissatisfaction, and that happens also in theater. You're working on something, and it can get very, very hard. Yeah. So I can pick up another performer or another director's frustration. So I go in and I clear the room. I forgot to do that in the beginning, and things did really get hard. So I now remember to bring my dowsing rod. I could do it without a rod, but my dowsing rod is my friend. And so, I clean the house, and I bring in the feeling of celebration. This is a place to celebrate, to ask questions, to celebrate, and to feel alive, and to bring in more love, to have more love, to feel more love. Yeah. And that's not la 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 la. But I was thinking at some point, I wouldn't mind developing a stand-up comedy or script for me. Because I love talking to the audience, and sometimes I can be very funny. Sometimes. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, yes.
Yeah, so it's more like, sort of creating a neutral, as you were saying, a sort of neutral. So you can start without baggage, heavy baggage or something like that.
Yeah. Neutral is better.
That will be good to do in everyday life.
And that's a ritual,
Yeah.
That's a ritual. Yeah. It's not just the piece, it's the ritual or the rehearsals and the preparation. But it's also the prep of the theater, and I want to tour again, because I realize when you make something, it's the house, and a piece starts to have structure and energy, and all the work you've done is information that's in the space to support you. And when you go to different theaters or places, I consider them site specific. So there's shift and changes. There's a lot of things here that I miss. And just yesterday I opened up the windows, which made a huge difference. I did that last year, so I thought I'm not doing it this year. But I felt enclosed in a box, and I just thought, wait a minute, we got to get some air in here. Yeah. Some other light, some outside. But so then the thing about touring is that the piece starts to inform you. And you learn more about it, being in different places and different audiences, and also just doing it again. It starts to have a life of its own, and because every house, every audience is different. Yeah. You're not going to get the same response that you expect. So you have to learn to not be the same performer or the same. It's like I can't deliver the same text and expect the same reactions to different group of people. And the energy in the room is different. So I have to wake up. So that's the beauty of touring. I want to tour. Anybody out there want to help me tour? I made so much work, and I haven't toured for years, and I quite miss it. Yeah. And also that's one way performers get paid. They do all this work. Yeah. And then it's on, Sarah has to make another piece.
Yes.
So, I want to make another piece, yes, and I want to also see the piece that I've made grow and develop. And I have a very young audience. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, I think that what you work with can speak a lot to a younger audience. Even all this energy work and ritual, but with the healing work, I think that it speaks a lot to younger people. There's more and more interest towards this kind of.
Yeah, because when I trained in New York City, there wasn't any of this.
Yeah, I can.
There's no somatic technique, or Like, I think Stanislav Grof was the very first person.
Yeah.
And I didn't hear about him until I was on the West Coast.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's probably one of the reasons I've been on the West Coast. Maybe because it's a mecca of healers.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Luna. So what are you doing with this? I forgot.
well, are